Abhishek Bachchan, welcome to Q.
Thank you.
So the film's not out yet, but there's already a hit song based on husband material.
Yes.
F is for Fyar.
Yeah.
Well, what am I getting that right?
Yes,
Fyar?
you are. Fyar. Yeah.
And what is Fyar?
So, Pyar in Hindi is love. And Anurag, our director, came up with Fyar. Because the two men in the love triangle represent Pyar, which is love, and Fyar, which is more lust.
Right.
So
That was very PG. Thank you for that.
yes,
Yeah.
let's not get So that's how he came up with it. Yeah.
I want to talk about the film. I want to talk about you just for a second first. So you went 2 years without making a film before this project.
Yeah.
I want to put that in perspective. So you made about 60 films between 2000 and 2016.
Yeah.
Take me back. Well, why did you put your career on hold?
I just reached a crossroad where I felt it was all coming a bit too easily for me. And to put in context, in India we do a lot of work.
Yeah.
You know, we don't make a film every 2 years. We make about 4 to 5 films a year. That's just the way we've naturally been. Now there are a few actors who do lesser work, but by and large everybody does a lot of work. I think when you're doing a lot of work, all the films are doing really well. You're making great money. It's almost becomes mechanical, and it's very easy to fall into a trap of a comfort zone. But I think as creative people, it's just a terrible place to be in. You know, you're just coasting along. You're being mechanical. You wanna be challenged. You don't want to just be in a comfortable space. It's really weird. I mean, you spend your entire life working really hard so that you can be comfortable materialistically, but somewhere emotionally you need to feel challenged, you need to feel stimulated. And I just felt the last couple of films I was doing, I was just very happy doing them. I was working with friends, the films were doing really well. But somewhere inside I just felt I wasn't challenging myself, I wasn't pushing myself. So I just took a break. I wanted to just recalibrate and just refocus myself. And
How was that? How was the break?
It was really busy because I have a lot of other work that I do apart from acting in films. I own 2 sports teams back home, so I was running that. I have my family businesses which I was trying to put up and make sure they run by themselves. But it was actually very nice because I think the introspection really helped. I think in the creative field it's very important to have all that stuff inside you that you need to take out and express in your art. So it really helped me, and I'm very happy that I did that. And I was very happy when I got this film with Anurag, because he was the kind of director I was looking to work with.
Well, why this film? Why is this film to come back?
So it's a good question. You know, when I was looking, I was ready to start working again. I was looking for what the next script should be, and I wanted something, like I said, I wanted stuff that's going to make me uncomfortable. I wanted something that's going to challenge me. Along came Anurag, and Anurag, if you've seen his filmography, isn't really known for love stories. You know, he's somebody who makes very dark, gritty, edgy kind of films and makes films which generally depict the underbelly of society. And suddenly, Anurag came to me with a love story. So I found that very interesting. I thought it was a good marriage of 2 very conflicting styles. And seeing his work, you just knew he was going to do something interesting with it. And I knew that would be challenging. And so I signed on, and the rest, as they say, is history.
But you used the word scary in the past. You said that, in order for me to take on a film, the film I want to come back needs to scare me a little bit.
Yeah.
Was there something scary about taking on this film?
What scared me and challenged me about it was the kind of performance he expected of me. When you see the film is predominantly about 3 people. It's a love triangle. In that love triangle, 2 of the protagonists are very flamboyant, very passionate, very outgoing, wild at heart, almost crazy-like in a sense. And in comes the third wheel, which is the complete other end of the spectrum. So my character, Robbie, comes in and he's the subdued, introverted, quiet, strong type. So in order to still portray what Anurag wanted emotionally to be said by this character, I did not have the tools that I would have normally had if I had a more flamboyant, outgoing personality in the film. Here was a film where literally he was just going to put the camera very close to you, and that was all the equipment you had, and that's it. We couldn't use our body language, you couldn't use your hands, you couldn't use props, you couldn't use costume, you couldn't use anything. So that way, there had to be a lot of honesty and reality in what he did, but he had to do it just with his eyes. So that really scared me because, actors, if you take away their movement and their hands and their feet and, they don't really get much to do, it scares you. So that was the challenge I was looking for, you know. And when you have an equation like this, where two of them are, in terms of energy, are up here, and suddenly you come in with an energy down here, it's very easy to be labeled as boring. We didn't want him to be boring. You wanted to keep the likability of this character. So these are all emotional equations we had to play with. So that really challenged me.
I found Rumi, the female character, a really interesting character.
Yes.
Because just for some context for people who haven't seen the film, I mean, she's openly sexual, she loses her temper, she makes mistakes.
Yep.
Again, you've been making films since 2000, you've been immersed in Bollywood culture since then. Have you seen a character like this before, a female character like this before?
Not as liberated as Rumi.
Yeah.
Not as... It's weird. I say there's actually an innocence about her. You know, she just is what she is.
Yeah.
And that's another thing, a theme in the film, which I really thought was so nice, and it's about time in India we said it, which is, who are we to judge her? Generally, when you have a character like Rumi, like you said, she's very sexually liberated. She does what she wants to do, and she doesn't feel guilty about it. Those kind of people generally in society are looked down upon and thought about as immoral or not correct. And the statement Anurag was trying to say is, why? Why do we get to judge what anybody else thinks? If she's okay with it, that's all that matters. And that's what I liked about my character, that although he's the complete other end of the moral structure to her, he never judges her. He just loves her for who she is.
Right. I mean, she talks about having an abortion, you know,
Yeah.
freely in this film.
Yeah,
I mean, I can't imagine that's something you've come across a lot before.
Not a lot. I mean, it's something that's been briefly touched upon in our cinema, but not something, I mean, not a character that says it so openly and so almost nonchalantly.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a big deal for her. So it was refreshing. It was refreshing. But what was more refreshing was to see her through the eyes of Robbie.
Yeah.
I thought that was unique because, you know, you get a character once in a while which is very open, which is liberated, as you said, which is wild at heart and can't be tamed, and you enjoy them. I enjoyed it even more because I got to see her through a perspective of a man who just, it didn't bother him, it didn't matter, he just loved her. So that really was something that I enjoyed.
And also, and you love her, but you are put together. It is an arranged marriage. This is not something that obviously that a lot of North Americans necessarily understand. But that comes up throughout the film. There's a very kind of violent scene where the marriage broker or the marriage person is attacked. Do you think the film had something to say about that, about the nature of arranged marriage or love within an arranged marriage?
It's interesting. I was asked this, and I don't think Anurag even thought about it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not an issue he
This is the director. He didn't.
Yes,
Yeah.
Anurag didn't. It's not something he wanted to even touch upon because I think his message kind of encapsulated everything. That whether it's arranged or it's a love marriage or whatever it is, at the end of the day, you have to love the person. So I think he kind of used that medium to just set up the story. But I don't think it's a major theme in the film.
When you took that time off, I assume in addition to doing some work, in addition to setting up the sports teams, I bet it was also a time to be introspective.
Yes.
Like to think about your career and to think about your life so far. And for people who are listening to this, I want people to know that your parents are both like icons of cinema, of Bollywood. Your grandfather, incredibly important poet. You come from this very esteemed family. During that time off, did you get any perspective on the pressures that come with that?
I got that perspective on my first day on my first film.
Really?
Yes. I was this 21, 22-year-old straight out of university in Boston, and I came onto this film set and I got my first job and I was just so happy to be doing it, and I had not really thought about the kind of pressures and all that, but it kind of dawned on me when I was about to do my first shot. And I remember we were shooting in a small town in western India called Bhuj. It's in the state of Gujarat. And I was doing the shot and I remember there were actually tractor loads of people that had come from neighboring villages because they got to know that Amitabh Bachchan, that's my father, son is going to be doing his first film. And I remember at one point in time, there were thousands of people behind the camera just waiting to see what is this guy going to do.
God.
And I think anybody would lose the plot, but then, first film, and it just got to me and I royally screwed it up. And I remember eventually my director was fantastic. He threw everybody off the set, shut the set down, just spoke to me, calmed me down, did his job, and then we came back home to the hotel that evening, and I was like, I can't do this, because this is all I'm thinking of. And I took a decision that night that I'm going to have to compartmentalize that and just lock it all away. Because if I'm going to be thinking about my father and my mother and their legacy and the pressure of being their child, I'm not going to be able to do my work because it's far too big a responsibility. I'd much rather channelize that into doing the best job that I can. And I just locked it away, and for some weird reason, I've managed to just allow it to just kind of deflect off me ever since.
But with that comes sort of your own pressures, because now you are just incredibly famous on your own.
Yeah.
You're famous as you. So, are there still places you can go? Like we were talking about on the way here. Like I don't know if you can walk down the street in Toronto. Like I don't know. Are there still places you
I
can
haven't
go?
tried it yet. I'd love to. I'd love to. Yeah.
But you know what I mean. Are there still places where you can get some peace and not be you?
Well, it depends because on some level, if you just do it quietly, people can leave you alone. The Indians are very expressive people. We're very tactile. We're very passionate people, and we love to express our love. But when you travel abroad, yes, you do get a bit more freedom. My wife and I can walk around, and we do love to go just to the supermarket and go shopping, which is something we don't do in India. You cannot do that.
Yeah.
I mean, if in India you go like grocery shopping, you're going to shut the place down.
Yeah, right.
And you don't want to inconvenience anyone. But over here, we enjoy that. And then you get somebody who recognizes you, and they're like, wait, what are you doing here? And like, we're normal people.
Yeah, right.
And in terms about peace, is what you were saying is, what do they want? They just either want a photograph, or they just want to shake your hand, or have a quick exchange of words. You do that, you move on, and it's okay.
That's some perspective, man. I know a lot of people who aren't at your level, who don't have that.
See, the
perspective.
thing I don't worry about when they come to approach you. I think you should worry the day they stop approaching you.
Yeah.
I'm very clear that look, I do what I do, and I do it for who I do it for, and that's the audience. I sit here before you because my audience has decided that they want to buy a ticket of their hard-earned money and go watch a movie of mine. So in a sense, you owe it to them, and all they want to do is just express their love, and I don't think that's a big ask of them.
Do you hope that there could be a film in Bollywood, or there could be a film like this film that might have, because I don't know if Western North American cinema has had that moment yet, that moment where a Bollywood film has sort of taken over and everyone has gone to see it. But do you really care? I mean, you have this gigantic following anyway. Does that matter to you?
Weirdly, yes. I think somewhere you want your films to reach out to it. You're always going to be a bit greedy. Yeah. And I think in that sense, as Gordon Gekko said, greed is good because it keeps you wanting to improve. I mean, 1 out of every 6 people on earth is an Indian, so it's a pretty good equation to have. But you want more people to see your cinema. You want more people to enjoy Bollywood, which it's sadly called, but that's what it is now.
Sure.
You want them to enjoy it for what it is, in its pomp and its pageantry and everything that just symbolizes what our movies are about. It's just a wonderful experience, and I know people who are not of Indian origin that watch our cinema, and it's a universe of its own. It's colorful, it's just beautiful, and you want more people to watch it, and as a creative person, you want not just the work that I do, but the work that my film industry does to travel and for more people to really experience the world of Indian cinema.
But it's a great film. Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
It's been nice to talk to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks for
Thank you
coming
so
in.
much.
Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.